What are some things that regular people will likely never get to experience? Absolute silence in nature. 2 years ago, I stopped to fix my glove on top of a mountain while skiing. Everyone else had gone down by the time I was done, and the total silence of everything hit. No wind, no other voices, couldn't even see anything man-made because it was a near whiteout. Just me, the snow, and the shapes of the trees. I might be getting too deep into this, but the overwhelming weight that was that silence made me feel like I fit perfectly into everything for a moment. I don't think something like sensory deprivation could even come close to it. Now, any regular person could experience something like that, and I hope anyone who wants to, and even those who don't really care, do, in fact, have an experience akin to mine, but it was such a chance collision of many different factors that I think it lies far enough outside of the norm. Getting a genuine apology from one of your parents' mom over things they did to you in your childhood. And they actually have made efforts to change and be better. They're not gaslighting you. It's actually acknowledging what has happened and making serious efforts to be better and do better. Being able to talk about generational trauma and try to actively heal from it with just one member mom of your family. My family was not very affectionate growing up. I used to hate being hugged because it was not something I liked nor understood. It's so easy to take basic affection for granted. My grandma was the type of person who told her kids she hated them and never wanted to have them. If you disagreed with her, you were in the wrong and disrespectful. When my mom would try to hug her, she would tell her, "Don't be gross." I didn't realize until I was older that the reason why my mom told me she always planned to have me was because it was her way of trying to not be like her mother. Because she wanted to tell me in her own way that you are loved and wanted. My own parents struggled to show affection with me as a child because they didn't know how to. They didn't know how to play with their own kid. Because their own families weren't very affectionate with them. Showing affection was doing things for the family and not complaining. Being able to have open conversations about mental health with my mom. Even having those hard conversations of now I know that both of my parents, mom and bio dad, have seriously considered committing suicide when I was a kid. Even as a teenager, I knew my mom considered drowning herself when I was 8 years old. I recently learned my bio dad considered jumping from a building and my mom talked him out of it when I was a toddler. My mom has been open about her struggles with depression now that I'm older. Even as a child I knew a little bit about it. My mom has never tried to do that whole making her childhood look better, and she was the perfect child in the hopes it would force me to be better. Like my aunts have done with their own kids. She's even told my cousins / her nieces and nephews that she won't lie to them about these things. Because it's okay to make mistakes. Ironically, I have gotten my grandma to admit my mom was her most well-behaved daughter out of all of her kids. And everyone in the older generation of the family basically said my mom was actually the perfect filial daughter. But my mom has never used that against me. She's been honest about some of her mistakes. I think my little sister will grow up with the best version of our mom, and I'm happy for her. I genuinely am. I'm really hoping the generational trauma dies with us. It's been a hard journey and there's still so much to work through. Using reaching tools to pick things up off the floor because your back hurts when bending over, or it could hurt, or your back is weak so you can't bend up from that position without support / help, and having multiple reachers also. Having to learn to do nails by yourself because you have crappy nail beds and weak nails and weak fingertips, so any natural nail that grows bends and breaks, no matter what growth product used. Having multiple stools to sit on just to clean your cat's litter boxes. Having multiple ear covers, earplugs, earbuds, headphones, to block out whenever any neighbor making noise with their subwoofers / music because you have anxiety hyperacusis from hearing that shit inside your non-insulated / non-soundproof home. Being afraid of stairs, or lots of stairs. Trying to organize items in your home or thinking about how that's right for you, so you can reach them easier. For me, I'm disabled and have weak arms and can only reach so much and don't want to reach up for heavy things and can only step on a one-step stool, but have to hang on to something going up and down. Not having income to try to be able to help pay for a house where I could have these custom things to help with my disabilities. Being on stage or seeing yourself on TV, or being backstage watching your girlfriend perform. Writing dialogue for Mila Jovovich to perform, those are my words coming out of her mouth. Being on set for filming of a hit TV series. Introducing a famous actor to jalapeno poppers for their first time. helping actor friends memorize their lines and helping them prep for audition read-throughs, giving advice to a producer and seeing your feedback lead to major changes in the trailer, adverts, and marketing. Summering abroad. Owning a holiday home. Being called a narcissistic stuck-up bougie prick by family members back home who never did anything and are jealous but won't admit it, so pretend they are better people for having not amounted to anything. A really bad trip on psychedelics. Psychedelics can be a great tool, and some if not most will have nothing but good experiences with them. However, never forget that you can't use it as a retreat and expect to be happy. If you're in the wrong headspace, the trip will reflect that 10x stronger. They can make you feel every little itching thought you've tried to repress or ignore and make it a sickening physical sensation on top of a horrifying mental hell. You can feel at the absolute lowest and helpless you've ever felt or will feel in your life. The overwhelming flush of panic and fear and hopelessness of a bad trip for most people, including myself, can be so mentally scarring that it'll leave you with the inability to discern if you are or ever will be okay, or if you're even the same you for weeks, months, in my case, or even maybe years.